What's up, Husky Nation? A star was born tonight, and his name is Liam McNeeley. You're locked on.
You are Locked On Uconn, your daily podcast on the Uconn Huskies, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Uconn your first listen every day. We're live, but wherever your free and available podcasts are, please get them, subscribe, all of it. Before we dive into today's show, just want to say thank you for all of the fans, especially all those that are jumping on live after this wild game. What an unbelievable performance. We're the only Uconn podcast that does both the men's and women's basketball daily podcasts, sometimes on weekends. Obviously, we're here Saturday night, December 14th at almost 11 o'clock at night. And to show our gratitude, we're giving back to our community. We're donating 10% of our revenue to Husky Ticket Project, helping send kids to Uconn games. And we're also making monthly donations to Bleeding Blue for Good, supporting NIL initiatives that help our basketball teams. So if you're enjoying the show, take a moment to subscribe. If you aren't subscribing, do it now. If you haven't subscribed to any audio versions, please, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, doesn't matter. Every download counts. Thanks again for making Locked On Uconn your first listen every day. All right, guys, what a absolute incredible game. It was a grinder, a gritty game that tested UConn's resilience, their ability to get punched in the mouth. They got off to an incredible start. I was kind of having fantasies of the Elite Eight game in 2023. But bottom line, guys, it was Liam McNeeley who emerged as the difference maker. I tweeted out, Dan Hurley has been searching for his Cam Spencer clone, and he has it in Liam McNeeley. I love some of the adjustments in the second half with Jaden Ross and Liam guarding Nembhard. Like that was just a stroke of genius because Nembhard's quick, but he's not like an incredible pull-up shooter. He made a couple in the first half. He missed a couple at the end of the game. And I think some of that size hurt him. And, what can we say about Liam? 26 points. He had 8 rebounds. Let's look at this box score. 26, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 10 of 12 from the free throw line. Incredible game from the freshman. The bottom line is this. In a game where Alex Karaban struggled from deep, 0 of 7 from the floor, 0 of 7 from 3. He was 3 of 10 from the floor, 0 of 7 from three-point land. I thought he was 0 of 8. Liam took over. He had 26 points, including clutch free throws down the stretch. Liam has an incredible ability to Euro step. He's got the same pacing as Cam, except he's like 18. Like Cam was 23. He's wise beyond his ears, right? And he is truly a cornerstone of what this UConn team can be. And tonight against a talented Gonzaga team that really didn't give up. Most of our Gonzaga previews had 2 names mentioned. Khalif Battle. What did he have tonight? 21 points. 4 of 6 from 3. He missed his first free throw tonight. What reminded me of the preview shows was essentially one of our guys, I think it was Connor Hope, could have been Tucker or Tuck Clary, who said, if it comes down to fouling, Gonzaga doesn't miss free throws. And Khalif Battle was 35 of 35. He missed a clutch free throw at the end of the game. I don't think it would have mattered. We shut down Nembhard. He had 15 field goal attempts and only 16 points. He was under his assist rate, which was 7. That was a key moment for us in what we talked about was, an absolute aha moment for this team if they're going to stop Gonzaga. Graham Ike was non-existent. Michael Ajayi had a nice game, but Nolan Hickman had a big fat 0, and that is a huge indicator of whether this Gonzaga team is going to win or lose. I thought Braden Huff would be better, but he had a tough game. I'm not going to worry about if I yawn in this podcast because it's 11 o'clock at night and I've been drinking, so I don't really care. So we got a bunch of people on the pod. Let's get Silky in here right away. Holy cow, we got a bunch of dudes. Let's do it. Silky, what's up, bro?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, man.
What a game, man. What a game. That
Absolutely.
was awesome. Liam was fantastic. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Youssef for those minutes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was just amazing. He honestly did a really good job rebounding. I was really shocked. I mean, he really got under the glass and really, did some good minutes there. And I'm excited to see Noel come back because Mahaney's minutes tonight, very stagnant, very, I think he's a little bit still lost out there in the offense.
Mm-hmm.
It honestly, obviously there's a lot of season left. He can turn it around. I've seen flashes of him, attacking and being more aggressive, but honestly, that doesn't really matter because we're 3-0 last 3 games against really good opponents. So at the end of the day, what a game from Liam. I mean, that one shot where he just threw it up off the glass and it somehow went in. I screamed at the top of my lungs on the TV. It was just what a performance. And I'm excited to see Noel come back and hopefully Samson, there's nothing, too big with that. I think it's probably a concussion if I had to take a guess, but
I don't know if it was. Did you see him? If anyone was there,
it looked like he got knocked out on the court because
really?
He wasn't moving. It didn't seem like he was moving for the first 10 or 15 seconds after that. And then I think he kind of came back into I mean, I don't know. At first I thought it was the wind got knocked out of him, but then he went to the locker room, came back fast, but didn't play for the rest of the game. Maybe it was precautionary. I guess we'll find out more information on that as, Dan talks. But
I just put in the chat if anyone knows if Samson has a concussion, if that's been reported. But no, I listen. I think I have in my notes about Samson or Youssef because, and I tweeted this out as soon as Samson went out of the game. I said anyone that's been giving Samson a bunch of crap, they're going to miss him if he's gone for a long stretch of time. And what I mean by that is not that we don't have terrorists or Youssef can't step in because Youssef was great. But I'll tell you what, this is what happens when you cover UConn as much as I do. There was one possession where Youssef, who's playing out of his mind, getting rebounds, being like a wall up there. He gets it. He literally gets an offensive rebound and is point blank. He's 6'11" and he kicks it out for a 3.
Oh yeah, he wasn't thinking about shooting at all.
I know, and I guarantee you, whether it's Luke or Kamani, is gonna be like, "Hey, my guy, listen, if you have that opportunity, go straight up and dunk on their heads. And if you get fouled, you get fouled, whatever. But the bottom line is he played fantastic. I totally agree with you. All right, Silky, I'm going to drop you, man, because we got
I know you got a lot of other people. Yeah, thank you,
all right, brother. All right, Doug, come on in.
Hey, fantastic game. Best game so far. Definitely, they're definitely looking like they're definitely playing together much better. This compared to the bye games in the beginning of the year, they look so much better, so much smoother. So it's very good to see. A couple of things I got. Just kind of going off the last guy, Mahaney. I mean, I love him. I hope he does well. I hope he comes up. But when he didn't get the ball over the half court, I was kind of out of my mind. Yeah, I mean that's just sloppy. Sloppy. So
you know what's so funny, Doug, is that initially because of how bad of an official James Breeding is, I actually thought he got it wrong, but then I had to correct myself and was like, actually, that was the right call, and it was just a mental lapse on Aiden's part.
Yeah, the other thing that I was not disappointed in, but was just a little frustrated was when we were up 5 with less than a minute to go, and then Diarra took the 3. I was really hoping either Solo or Stewart would take the 3, but it is what it is. We still got the win. And
you know what, man? I would say to that is, I think the frustration is not who shot the 3, is the decision to shoot the 3. Is just Jim Jackson wasn't great tonight on the call, but I will tell you that was his best call of the night, which was just drive to the hoop. You're in the bonus, and they're not going to follow you. And if they do follow you, that's worse for them. And if Haas has an opening or he wants to force it, that's fine. And then maybe they double and you can kick it out for an open 3. I do appreciate. I did say this because I'm going to get Dan Meehan in here in a second here, my co-host, about Haas, because I do feel like Haas has brass balls. He doesn't care. There's no. And I'm not trying to compare one or the other. One's been in this system for 3 years. But like the difference between Haas and Aidan Mahaney is there's no hesitation. Like whether he makes it or misses, he's like a closer. You know, like think about like a closer. If you have to have a short memory, it's not the right decision. But I do appreciate his gall, if you will, that it doesn't care that he was what was Haas tonight? I'm looking at the box score. He was 0 of 4 from 3. But at that point, he was 0 of 3, and he was like, I'm going to be 1 of 4. So I do appreciate that moxie, but I don't appreciate the decision. Does that make sense?
Yep. And I got one last thing. You guys were just talking about how you were glad to see how well Singari played tonight, and I am too. But I am actually very happy with the way Taras stepped up.
Absolutely.
He stepped up big when Sampson went down in the first. He played great. He played many more minutes tonight than he normally would have if Sampson stayed in the game. So
he played bigger minutes.
Yeah. I'm giving Taras tons of props tonight. I think he played great.
You know what's so funny, dude, is that Taras actually only got 23 minutes tonight. It was because Yusuf gave you 7 and Sampson was in for 6 when he got hurt. It's the pressure moments, like the being there at the end where he typically isn't because Sampson is doing that role. So
he's fouled out by 5 minutes to go.
Absolutely. All right, brother. I'm going to drop you off, and I'm going to get my man Dan in here, and then we're going to roll through everyone that's in the chat. All right? Appreciate you, brother. Hey, Dan Meehan. What's up, bro?
3P back on. Let's go. We are back. Madison Square Garden, Storrs South. This Uconn basketball program is back on top. We're not back in the top 10 when the AP rankings come out on Monday. I don't know what these guys are thinking. We even got a nice Jeff Goodman tweet tonight. Uconn back. Imagine that. Woo! What a night. What a night in Manhattan.
I know I've been drinking, but I think Dan has been too. I love it. Absolutely.
I'm fired up. Uconn looked good tonight. At no point during that game did I think Gonzaga was the better team. They showed some fight, but Uconn shoots, I think they end up 5 of 22 from 3. Like considerably their worst 3-point performance so far on the season. And they beat the number 8 team in the nation. What are we talking about? I never want to hear the 4-letter word Maui ever again. That never happened. This team is back. The 3-peat is back on. Let's go.
Hey, all I know is Jeff Goodman also retweeted the field of 68. Hey, the feud is off with the field of 68 right now because guess what? Dan Hurley, I'm going to retweet it right now. Dan Hurley, friend of referees everywhere. Because there was a moment at 69-63 with about 6 minutes to go in the second half, and I remember it very well, where he puts his arm around Tommy Morrissey, and they just smile, and he giggles, and he goes, and they retweeted it. All right, look, let's run through some of these guys that are in. I want to give their thoughts. We got tons of people ready to go. Bernie, what's up, bro?
Hello, guys. How are you?
Our guy.
How you doing, Bernie?
I am so happy. I said it, didn't I? 3 in a row, and this was their first neutral court win of the season.
Undefeated in the continental United States, Burn Dog.
That's right. But the one thing that's ticking me off right now as I'm reading the comments on my TV screen is people like, come on, let's stop the bashing. We just had a phenomenal win tonight. Let's ease up on Mahaney. Let's stop bitching and moaning and groaning about Mahaney and just focus on the fact that we just beat the number 8 team in the country. Okay? Who gives a crap if Mahaney had a bad game? Listen, We're only 11 games into the season. He has an entire season to go. I mean, we have so many games to go. People were complaining about Tristan Newton when he came over here from East Carolina. And what did Tristan Newton do? He led us to back-to-back national championships. What did Karaban do? Yeah, he was 0 for 7 from 3, but you know what? Who had the game-winning shot to keep UConn ahead in the game? It was Karaban.
Let's go.
You bring up
Burn, baby, burn.
You bring up
So
Tristan
I don't
Newton.
want to hear any more people complaining and bitching about Mahaney. I don't want to hear anybody bitching and moaning about the demise of UConn. UConn is here to stay, baby, and we're going to win that third straight national championship. Bank on it,
Bernie.
bitches. Bank
Bernie.
on it.
Wow.
Burn dog.
Whoa.
Easy on the B word.
Easy on the B words, but yeah, let's go. No.
All
hey,
right. I know you got other people, but let me tell you something. Xavier lost to Cincinnati. We beat Gonzaga. They couldn't beat since the freaking Natty. Okay? Xavier's coming up next. We're going to kick Xavier's butt just like we did tonight with Gonzaga. Everybody who thought UConn was down and out, guess what? We're back. And we're coming for every freaking team out there. Watch out. Have a good night, fellas.
Appreciate
Love
the
you,
call as
Bernie.
always, Bernie. I got a comment. He mentions Tristan Newton. I'm looking at the box score tonight. Eerily reminiscent how lopsided the scoring numbers for the UConn starters are tonight. It reminded me a lot of Tristan Newton in Kansas last year. Liam McNeeley puts in his best effort as a young player at UConn. He ends up with 26, leads all scorers, 7 of 13, plays all but 3 minutes in the game, 10 of 12 from the free throw line, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. And I thought he initiated a lot of offense tonight. Like Bernie said, Karaban he might have had his worst game as a UConn player tonight, and they still beat the number 8 team in the nation by 6, excuse me. UConn, again, shoots 5 of 24 from 3, 21%. It's by far their worst 3-point percentage shooting performance of the young season, and they get a nice win. So it's looking up, man. They're getting better. Yeah.
Real quick to the people that are in the chat, whether it's if this is by design, so Frank and I think it's Maz, if you guys don't put your microphones on, I can't bring you on to the stage or to the chat. So if you want to turn those on, I'm going to go to Steve right now. And then if you want to come on after, you're more than welcome to. Steve, what you got, buddy?
Hello?
What's up, brother?
You can hear me?
I hear you, of course, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, great win tonight, and this game was won from the free throw line, I believe.
I mean, it is won a lot of places, but it definitely, I think UConn shot it well from the free throw line, and you can't discount that. I think Gonzaga came in as one of the most highly rated free throw shooting teams in the country, but UConn made clutch free throws. Bottom line is, this team, it didn't lead from start to finish. There was literally, I think it wasn't wire to wire because I think Gonzaga took a 21-20 lead. But that's it. If I'm not mistaken, it was a wire-to-wire win other than the 8:40 mark in the first half. And we'll check that. But, this team was thoroughly dominated by UConn because they continue to level up. And what Dan and I texted back and forth before we got on the stream was they just don't have that kill shot moment right now, but it's coming. And I think that's part of the next evolution of this team.
Yep. And McNeeley became a Husky tonight. I mean, he was since the beginning, but he showed that he can play on the big stage as a freshman.
His offensive package is so impressive as a freshman. He's so seasoned I think he's either 18 or 19. As a first-year player at a big-time program, the amount of times that he's comfortable going to his left hand in the lane against a bigger defender and just his hesitancy, he's got some of that Luka Doncic type of slow down game in the paint where he just gets his defender off the wrong foot and goes up and gets the N1. He's so crafty. It's clear that playing with that star-studded, I think someone on Twitter the other day showed how the 5 freshmen from that Montverde team are playing in their first years, and all those guys are
pretty damn good.
Playing against those guys every day their senior year at the best team, best school in the country. His senior year is paying dividends.
What you got? Last thing, Steve.
And Youssef was great in defense tonight, and he kept them in the game for it. And I think we'll get Johnson back soon because I don't know if you noticed it, but he was on the bench at the end of the game.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he didn't have a concussion, but we'll definitely be monitoring that, man. Hey, Steve, man, I appreciate you. I'm going to go to an ad, and then I'm going to bring in the next dude. I appreciate your contribution. All right, guys, real quick, I'm going to go do an ad, and then we're going to get back to getting you guys on the show. Coming up, we're going to talk to a bunch of other folks who are happy about this UConn win. What's up, my friends from Game Time? Let's get this banner off here so you can actually see the ad. Perfect. There's nothing quite like the thrill of watching a live game, as you just saw it. If there's people that were just at Madison Square Garden, please come on the show, because I remember watching Kemba Walker light up in person and take that step back and basically write his name in history against Pittsburgh, and then eventually win the Big East championship and the national championship. Those moments are special. Game Time wants you to feel the exact same way that I did the moment that I saw that. And it's not just about convenience. It's about confidence. Game Time's lowest price guarantee means if you find a better deal, they'll credit you 110% of the difference. Their all-in pricing shows you the total upfront package with no surprise fees. And Game Time lets you have ticket coverage insurance. Your purchase is fully protected. It's hands down the easiest and most reliable way to secure seats. I'm telling you guys, if you haven't done this yet, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Game Time app. Well, what time is it, guys? It's game time. Someone should tell Gonzaga it's game time, but it's already over. All right, we're back. Let's get Dan in here. What's up, my man? All right, we got Frank in here, or no, Silky's already talked. Let's go. What up? Okay. What's up, bro? I love that.
Hey
logo.
guys, how's it going?
Talk to me, man. What's going on?
All right. First thing I want to say is Stewie was elite.
Stewie was elite. Yeah, absolutely.
Really proud of him, and really proud of Youssef. You know, having that third center, especially with the foul trouble we've had in the past few games, like seeing him go and play defense alone, because that's like the big thing we expected from Klingon, is he was able to play defense, and having him to step in there for like really impactful minutes and play defense against what was supposed to be a really good center in D1 basketball, and held him to nothing and held battle to almost nothing. Really just proud of that, knowing that that's something that we can like look on going forward. Like the growth from this team in the past couple of games has been insane.
I agree. Sometimes I get distracted by the chat, so I don't disagree with you at all. I'm going to take my stupid name off the top of this because we don't need that up there. But what I was going to say was like I get distracted by the comments sometimes. I'm not even going to put this up there, but like one guy was like, "Do you feel like this win solidifies UConn in the NCAA tournament?" It's like, and I can't swear right now. I've already been told I can't swear on the podcast. Are you effing kidding me? Yeah. UConn's not going to be in the NCAA tournament. Hey, listen, guys, UConn is going to compete for a national championship and is going to likely be in the Final Four. This team they just beat, and what Dan has said is that they've actually beat a team that was probably 27, 30 or 40% older than them in the respect of point guard, center, wings. Like all these guys they have, like, do you think Khalif Battle is a sophomore? He's a junior, maybe a senior. And Liam McNeeley made him his, his itch with a B, if you know what I mean. Like he had 26 points. So look, the bottom line is this team is back. It never left outside of the national media basically burying us. And I have such an issue with people that like are complaining about like I'll echo Bernie. Stop with the Mahaney hate. Stop with the we didn't shoot threes tonight. Who cares? We won the game. They'll figure stuff out. If you win games and you don't shoot well, that's a badge of honor. Absolutely.
Mark, you mind if I go through some game notes
Go
here?
ahead. Give me some love.
So I just want to go through just kind of the succession of the game and how everything kind of played out, because it was just such a tremendous basketball game. We owe it to cut through some of the details. First play of the game, this is how UConn chooses to always start a basketball game. A Sampson lob. Usually it's in the last 2 years. It's been
Love it.
off the hands of Tristan Newton in the lane. This one was from the 3-point line from Haas. Best way to start the game. I said it on the preview pod that you and I did earlier. I thought this was going to be an awesome Samson Johnson game, and it was up until a freak fall, an awkward fall. No one either on TV or in the arena, people that I were talking to, knew what happened. We still don't know what he hurt. It was just an awkward fall. You're waiting for Samson to kind of crawl on the telecast. the way that the camera crosses the half court line and you're waiting for Sampson like to cross the half court line to make sure he's okay, and he doesn't. They pan to Hurley sprinting on the court to make sure he's okay. He comes back to the bench, was a little bit, it seemed out of it, doesn't come back into the game, and then they have to turn to Terrace Reed, who I thought played really well the remainder of the first half, stayed for the most part out of foul trouble. They go to Yusuf Sangare for more first half minutes. He only plays 7 minutes tonight. It felt like 21. Every time he's out there, you're almost waiting, not for something bad to happen, but just kind of holding your breath to make sure that they can stay afloat while he's in the game. We're just not used to the third string center having to play many minutes. Nembhard, point guard's point guard. We said it in the preview pod. Cut the head off the snake and you win the game. He shoots 6 of 15 tonight, plays all 40 minutes, only 7 assists. In the first half, I think he had 6. So in the second half, he was completely negated. UConn clearly at the half game planned to shut him down. They made him work for everything. He shoots 35% on the night, and they win the game. Having a week off in between games, we've discussed it on this podcast before. Maui, you don't get to practice in between games. When you have a week off to prepare for the best staff in America to prepare for a top 10 opponent, UConn is going to negate some things that you do well. They clearly did that tonight, and just really impressed with that staff and how they game plan. Diarra, I'm going to pick a few nits here. Delivering ball late to guys coming off of screens on the perimeter. They're missing a couple, shot opportunities there. That's a nitpick. But Alex Karaban, again, steady Eddie on defense. He did not shoot well tonight, but he still played active defense. The buzzer beater in the first half hurt, but going into the half, this game was an incredible game. 43-40. McNeeley led all scorers with 13. UConn did not miss a free throw in the first half. Both teams shot exactly 54%, had 5 turnovers each had 10 fouls, dead even going into the half. And yeah, it was just a super competitive second half. We can pick nits about Aiden getting the 10-second call at the half court.
I don't care about that. And
you want to clean it up, but they'll get there.
But I also want to say, okay, you got anything else to say before you jump off? You still with us?
Sorry for the rant.
No, you good, bro. All right. I'm going to drop them off. Although I love that logo. What I will say is I saw this on Twitter a little bit. It's like, I think everyone's trying to not be the first to say, this is going to get undershadowed, but Yusuf gave them great minutes. He did. Yusuf was amazing. I love it. I hope they use him more because guess what? If they need him, it just shows tonight against a top 10 team that he's ready.
These are the type of games where he needs to build those confidence. This is how you get it ready for a national title run.
Absolutely. Let's get a little silly. What are you drinking now? I am drinking a.
What are you drinking now?
I am getting a. I'm drinking an Exit 68 Coors Light. And I will do this. I'm going to do this live on the show. This is sponsored by Exit 68.
I'm drinking the Derek White Holiday White Ale.
No, we're going to do a Fireball.
Ooh. Some fire in the lungs. Put some hair on your chest.
That's why my voice is so deep.
Maybe on the top of your head. We'll see. I'm going to go through some second half notes while.
How dare you? How dare you talk about top of my head? You bastard.
I'm going to go right back to Liam McNeeley. He was the best player on the court tonight as a freshman.
Absolutely.
You know how rare this is. This guy is not going to be here long. We talked about the kill shot. UConn has their worst 3-point percentage shooting night of the season, and they win by 8 against a top opponent. If they shoot even 30% tonight, they win that game by 15.
Yeah.
You hit one of those kill shots when you're up 6, up 8, hit a 3 to go up 10 or 11 with that crazy at-home UConn crowd. Do you see Owen and Chance coming through the living room speakers tonight? My goodness, I wish I was in that crowd. I had a lot of friends at MSG tonight. I'm sure you did as well. We all did. The UConn fans showed out in droves tonight. So,
do you know I got a message from tonight?
Here's to UConn Nation for getting on the train from New Haven, heading to the city, and showing up and supporting this team the way you know how.
You know how I got a message from tonight? And I'm going to give him a shout out because we're going to talk next week. I'm not going to put him on the spot, but I feel like he is going to end up sponsoring the show a little bit in the future. But I got a message from none other than Joey Bail Bonds.
Joey Bail Bonds, our boy.
Joey Bail Bonds sent me
Friend
a
of the
text and was
program.
like, "Yo, check out where I'm sitting," and it was like really good seats. Wasn't courtside like at Gamble, but I get it. It's MSG, but he was pretty damn close. So, look, also my cousin and the patron saint of Uconn swag, Chris Smith, were in the building tonight. You had Penfield, you had Prem, you had Little Red. Guys,
just tweet about Little Red. Someone was like, they saw him clapping hands. He's sitting courtside, clapping hands with every Uconn player that comes through the tunnel. And someone asked, "Is that guy with the team?" And he said,
"Yes."
In so many words, just yes.
Oh my goodness! All right, real quick. Let me do our last ad, and then we'll get into the last 10 minutes of the show. If anyone wants to jump on, there's a link in the pod in chat. There's also a link on X, and let me just get this out of the way, and then we will finish the program. All right, y'all. I know it's live. Bear with me. Have you ever realized you're still paying for subscriptions you forgot about or thought you'd already canceled? That was me about a couple months ago before I found Rocket Mortgage and Locked On told me about it. It's like having a personal finance assistant that helps you get everything under control. Rocket Money tracked down subscriptions I wasn't even using anymore and made it simple to cancel. No phone calls, no headaches, just savings. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you manage your money smarter. It finds canceled, unwanted subscription, monitors your spending, and even helps lower your bills, all while giving you tools to grow your savings. While over 5 million users and $500 million in savings, canceled subscriptions, Rocket Money makes an impact. On average, members save about $800 a year when you use all of it, all the premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com and use Locked On today. That's rocketmoney.com/locked on. rocketmoney.com/locked on to get your subscriptions canceled today. What up? Speak of the devil, Joey Bail Bonds. What up, dog?
Bail Bonds.
What up, my guy? I'm gonna make it quick because I'm driving home right now from leaving the game. But hey, appreciate the shout out. Big win. The Uconn fans fueled that win, and we came up with some big plays when we need it. And thankfully, Samson Johnson is okay because that took the air out of it. And you can say that stalled our momentum to the point it flattened it. And you could tell there was someone needing to make a play and step up. But I'm glad we came through when we needed to. It's a big win for Uconn. All right.
Absolutely, brother.
It's a great point. As soon as Uconn was dominating this game when Samson was in it, as soon as he went out, obviously the shock factor, shock value in the crowd just takes some wind out of the sails of the crowd and just changes the game a little bit. It also changes the personnel that Uconn needs to bring onto the court. So, you can building moments and a team progressing throughout the season to ready themselves for conference play and then ultimately a national title run. These are the type of moments where you need to kind of overcome adversity. And Uconn, I think, give them credit for showing their depth on offense and defense. Terrace Reed played great as soon as Samson went to the bench. Again, first half playoff Singarian minutes, we're not used to that. We might need to get used to it more and more. But I'm impressed with the resolve that Uconn showed with their starter going out with a freak injury tonight.
100%. And I'll be honest, I don't know if we win that game if it's not at MSG. If it's a neutral site.
You think so?
I mean, the fans are going to give you a couple point difference. And I mean, they're letting them play. You saw that. It was one of those games we weren't getting fouls crazy. They played that back and forth foul game, but that's how it goes. But
a couple ticky-tack fouls, but it was pretty even on both sides.
It was pretty even. And that, I mean, also, too, when do we ever shoot 23%? Was it 23%?
23% for win.
From the 3-point line? Like, we'll be fine. And we'll be better. But, yeah, also, too, if you take out and put Samson back in when we had to go small and kind of got abused a little bit, that's a different game. But congrats to Dan Hurley on the 3-0 win, and let's go.
Let's go, dog.
To the personnel that they have gathered on this roster. For most teams in the country that lose their starting center, that's a tough way to react on the fly. But then they just bring in another top 30 center, top 30 ranked out of high school center, Terrace Reed, who's going to be all Big East. He's top 5 most efficient players in America. We get to bring that guy off the bench for 21 minutes tonight.
100%. And someone was telling me, he's like, Terrace Reed needs to start. And I was like, I don't know, because I compare it to back on that George Mason team we had when we lost to George Mason, when you had Brown and Anderson, kind of 1-2 were interchangeable, where Terrace Reed, he's great, but he's not the offensive flow that Samson has. That's why. But sometimes it's interchangeable. He's going to have a good game. Samson's going to have a good game. And
I think that we've talked about this, Joey, on this pod, the ceiling of this team. They want Samson starting the game. You see that they throw a lob to him like 3/4 of the first play of every game.
Superman.
They want to start the game at a certain pace. They had their best start of the season tonight in the first 8 minutes of the game. They grew up big. They want Terrace coming off the bench. They want him to be like a bruiser coming off the bench. When you got Jeff Adrian plus 5 inches coming off the bench to relieve a guy that shoots 90%, literally, Samson Johnson is shooting 90%. He has not had missed more than one shot in any given game in his last 8 games. Has not missed more than one shot. That's who you're relieving with Terrace Reed, who's going to be all second team All Big East. They're in a good spot. This team's going to keep growing. I would be very interested in come tournament time.
I'm going to ask you a question, Joey. What's the jacket you're wearing? Is that a home field? Can I get some love?
No, it's not. But I'm wearing home field underneath because it's so comfortable. But I'm wearing I'm wearing my my go-to jacket every game.
Joey, I'm glad you're wearing that jacket. I have a comment about that jacket. My best friend in the world, Rob Borkowski, who lives out in LA, met you in Phoenix. He goes, I met this guy, Joey Bail Bonds. I didn't. He was either gonna kill me or be my best friend for life within the first 30 seconds of meeting him. He had a custom leather jacket piece that I've never seen in my life.
It's actually not custom. I got it off eBay.
Okay.
I think it's a Carl Banks or one of those. I'll send a picture to Mark.
Okay.
But no, yeah, it's a dope. I've seen. So me and my brother have there's a blue one that's similar to this. You've probably seen a bunch of people wear it. It's a similar like blue and white one that my dad had, and me and my brother wanted it. So he ended up getting a jacket just like. So I let him wear that one because he's older. Out of respect to him, let him have his swag, and I'll do my shit separate. But we both wear leather jackets. When we're sitting at home, you'll see it because he has the lighter blue. I have the darker blue one. But I've never seen anyone have this jacket. That's why I love it.
So you're telling me you wear that leather jacket at home when you're watching games on TV?
Oh, no, at home. I wear it to the game. That's why. I wore this in Scottsdale and everything, man.
I'm gonna need you to start wearing that jacket on the couch at home watching Uconn game.
The problem is I'm not at home watching the game. I'm usually there. I was at Kansas last year.
Love it. Keep supporting the squad, man. We appreciate you calling.
Always, man. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you guys shouting me out, guys. Have a good night.
All right, I'll talk to you next week.
Gotcha. Bye.
All right, Dennis, come on in. Tyler, you're next.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, guys. I thought it was a great game, and I was watching the game, and I just thought for sure, if one of these, a handful of these threes fall, the lid was going to pop off MSG.
Oh, yeah.
By far. And I say if some of those threes fall our way, we easily put a 90 burger or more on these guys. It wasn't even close with our backup center. It was a great game, and I really enjoyed it. And because I go to Uconn Hartford, and I was going to try to go to the game, but because I had student tickets pretty cheap, but I didn't want to have to go all the way down there, all the way back. It's just so late. I live almost on the Mass line in Connecticut, so it was definitely a good crowd, and it's definitely Storrs South for sure. Going to the women's game, my daughter, so make some great memories with her, so it's going to be a good time, man. I'm looking forward to. I know last couple of weeks the Maui trip was brutal, and everybody was bearing us in the national media. But I think sometimes, I'm a Marine Corps vet, served in Iraq. Sometimes you need these galvanizing moments to really grow as a program. And also for the season, I think, at least for me, I came into the season, it was going to be rinse, repeat, and just keep going. And I think this team needed some, again, galvanizing moments to really see their potential and also kind of a reset, like, all right, we got to put some more effort in this and we got this. And I think we saw that tonight for sure. Because
it's a great point, man. You had these moments, we just kind of had it on the last call where Sampson goes down with the injury. That's a fight or flight moment. UConn and this personnel and this roster have the luxury of having a great center coming off the bench. They can kind of just pick right up with the next guy, and they showed some serious resolve tonight. Gonzaga goes on a little run after Sampson goes out of the game, but they respond. The game stays close at halftime, and UConn pretty much led this game the entirety of the second half. That is a statement win against a really good, well-coached team.
For sure. All right, man. Dennis, I really appreciate you, man. Appreciate your service. Appreciate you being a part of UConn Nation. We got Tyler on right now. Tyler, what you got for us, brother?
Yeah, man, great win. It was really nice to see. I'll start with a few positives that I noticed. Just, obviously the team defense is much improved since Maui. I love to see the guards crash in the glass more. I definitely saw some of those like putbacks that were really nice to see that you've grown accustomed to over the last couple of years from UConn teams. I also think the rotations are tightening up a bit. And I think it's like, when you're trying to search out and see who's going to play, and you can't really get into a flow of the game and the continuity and stuff, and the rotations are starting to tighten up a bit. Hurley's dialing those in. So I think those are all positives.
Madison Square Stewie. Again, another great game tonight. They're whittling down that. It's getting down from not 10 and 9 guys down to 7 and 8, just like you said.
Yep, absolutely. And then, as far as like some improvement stuff, I thought Haas had a little bit of a rough game, just forced a couple of lob passes that weren't there. And, listen, I love the guy. I mean, part of, back-to-back teams, but like when you're a 5th-year graduate senior and this is your first time starting, I think he's great in a complimentary role. And like to see him kind of like in the last few games, I don't know. I feel like he's forced up some shots that just weren't there, and I'd love to see him kind of like look off a bit. But I thought he played great defense. I thought he played great defense for the most part on Nembhard. And
Tyler, I'm going to say this to you, and I'm not saying this. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I have this on my wall, and it fell off today. And I'm going to say this is always on my wall because it gives me purpose. It's the man in the arena quote, and if you don't know it, and I know that people do. It's not the critic who counts. And I'm not saying you are, and I'm saying you're 100% right about Haas and then there's people who've talked about Aiden. And so what I will say about the man in the arena is that what I appreciate about Haas, and I said it already tonight, is that I don't give a rip about him taking bad shots because he's earned it. This is his 3rd run with this team. He's won 2 national championships. He's earned the opportunity to take the game-winning shot to potentially be the guy that is the point guard, that isn't Tristan Newton, that isn't Cam Spencer, etc. And if he misses, he misses. But if you notice, he didn't make a 3 tonight. But guess what? When they were up 4 or 5 at the end of the game, he took that last 3. It sucks that he missed, and I'm with you. And I was in that same boat with you where I'm like, oh, like, why? Like, I think the bigger criticism is, like, just go to the hole. Like, you know what I mean?
Sure. Take it to the basket.
36 minutes tonight. Every single one of those 36 minutes, he was engaged playing Gonzaga's player on defense. He eliminated Ryan Nembhard in this game, who was 6 of 15. That was the crux of the game plan.
But I will say, Dan, like, and I brought this up earlier before you jumped on. I thought Haas did a good job. No, he actually limited Nolan Hickman. Nolan Hickman had 0 points tonight. Who is their engine on this team? And what Dan did tonight was like, you know what? I'm gonna rotate Haas on the second half to Nolan Hickman and put Jaden Ross, put Liam McNeeley, any wing that was in the game guarded Ryan Nembhard, and that minimized their ability to kind of utilize spacing. And it completely eliminated Graham Ike. So that's what this team has. Like, they have the ability to be like, hey, you know what? We're going to put a 6'7" guy on your point guard, and you're screwed. So I just feel like Haas, Aiden, Jaden Ross. Jaden Ross had a great steal in this game and a layup.
Timely rebounds too.
There's little contributions, and you know what it ends up being, Tyler, for me is like Dan, to only fault that Dan has as a coach is he pumps up these guys so much that we expect like this like high level approach from all these guys. And the reality is like if Haas can just give us like 6 points and 8 assists a day,
Yeah,
we're good. We're good.
Even assist again today.
I-
Ryan Nembhard played 40 minutes tonight out of necessity. They do not want. No team wants to play their best player for 40 minutes. That's out of necessity.
I listen. I think Haas, when he has the ball at the end of the game, I feel comfortable. I think to your point, you said earlier, I would have rather saw him like drive and then maybe dish.
Absolutely.
Or he's great when he can spot up and get one of those, be the recipient of a drive and dish and shoot a three. But he just never has really been that create your own shot off the dribble kind of guy or so anyway, that's all I'm saying. But one last point I'll make just on the positive side of things, McNeeley, man, he's such great body control for a freshman. Like he's so aware to be able to like throw up a shot when he's kind of on the borderline of being a little out of control. He'll throw up a shot and draw the foul.
He's got an agenda. He knows just what he wants to do with his defending. Like, and he
glides around the court. It feels like 2 steps gets him from, NBA 3 land into the paint. He's effortless. It looks so
guy
easy.
Comes from a Montverde team that has 5 stud freshmen in college basketball this season. He had to operate in high school his senior year. This is a guy who won the best national tournament MVP over Cooper Flagg their senior year. He comes from a team of 5 studs who are all crushing it as freshmen in college basketball season. Yeah. He had to, out of necessity, operate off of limited movement as a small forward shooting guard in high school. He does so much already at UConn without he doesn't have to dribble around the perimeter to get to where he wants on the court. That's something you learn in the NBA, like having an agenda on offense. He's already got the repertoire. He's got a seasoned left hand. Yeah. I would be shocked if he is in Storrs next season.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would agree with you. I'll listen. Love the pod, guys. I'll leave you with one funny story. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were like, "Oh, I'm really shocked that he played on a high school team with Cooper Flagg and stuff. It's kind of rare. Like, what a crazy high school team." And I had to be like, "You realize it's like a preparatory pro high school team that they pay to get these guys in." And they were like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah."
I think the school is literally
they didn't just go to Vernon High School together.
Yeah, it's not Bristol Central. It's not the CCC South.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, guys, thanks so much.
All right, Andrew, you're coming to the stage, and then I'm going to Frank next. What up, Andrew?
What up, guys? I mean,
Andrew, hold on, stop for a second. Andrew, no negative stuff. Tell us who you are, because this is a special moment, and you're not just a regular fan. You do a podcast. Tell everyone where it is.
Yeah, I'm Andrew. I'm a co-host of How About Them Huskies podcast, which you can find on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And we've been going for about 3 years now.
Let's go.
But yeah, I don't want to say anything negative, because anything negative is cleared my brain. I mean, just the way this team is operating after the whole Maui thing, I feel like that Maui tournament was good for us, even though I don't really care about it now. But I want Jalen Stewart, man. I mean, this kid,
Madison Square Stewie.
Shout out to Jamar, dude. Jamar Jones. My guy was
Jamar
like,
Jones, baby.
He put it on X. He was like, he had some video on there, and it's I don't think he missed a shot. Like if we look at the numbers,
awesome.
I think he was. Go ahead, Andrew. But I'm gonna look at this. I think he was 5 of 5.
Jalen played 19 minutes. He was 4 of 5.
4 of 5.
2 of 2 from
10 points.
3.
10 points in 9 minutes. 19 minutes. Let's go.
That is an eerily reminiscent box score for him. Compared to last year's performance in the Big East tournament. So that guy's
3-point shot looks so good.
It did.
Incredible.
He looks bigger this year to me, at least on TV.
Him and Solo and Jay Ross, they worked out over the summer. I know that. They were in the lab together all summer.
Stewie looks filled out to me.
And it's showing with all 3 of them, honestly. Yep. Because I'll tell you, these 3 or those 3 last year, that's my other point with these freshmen versus guys like McNeeley and Castle. Castle and McNeeley, you knew they were one and dones. I mean, just the way they operated on the court, the way they move the basketball, the way they do everything is just so much different. But the beauty of these guys is that you can truly see the work now. I mean, you go back to the tapes when Solo started last year, versus this year, I mean, you could pick out 10 differences within the first minute of watching him play.
I want to talk about, the last caller mentioned it, but Solo's flashes on defense has helped D tonight, was very evident, I thought, on the telecast. They're the way that they're rotating on defense, they clearly, it was so obvious that they had a week to prepare for this game because they were just flying all over the place. The second half, we mentioned that Nembhard, their best player, had to play 40 minutes tonight literally out of necessity just to keep Gonzaga in the game. You eliminate him from the game, and it just changes everything that they're able to do. Their second best scorer had 0 points tonight. That reminds me of the national championship game against Purdue, where you just let Edey eat, and there was one guy on Purdue's team that had all 8 of the team's assists. No one else gets to eat. I don't know how, as a college basketball team, you can beat UConn if they're playing that way.
You can't. That's plain and simple. You cannot. And I mean, if that's how we have to win these big games, so be it. I mean, we've done it so many times. We, like you just said, Edey, and then with this one too, and a bunch more games. I mean, even before, so it's the way college basketball kind of is at this point. No teams are completely loaded where they've got 5 guys that can kill you, besides us, obviously, last year.
Yep.
But I feel like that's just kind of the way that college basketball is trending, is just you got to find your best guy to defend their best guy. And then I feel like this is obvious, but the other ones kind of just fall where they are.
And which staff in this country out of 365 Division I teams would you trust most to get the most out of the guys that you have?
I mean, that's not even a question.
With transfer portal guys, with fifth-year seniors that have played at 3 and 4 different schools in 5 years, the continuity that this team has, which team going into conference play do you think is on the best trajectory to win a national championship? I'm taking these guys.
I'm going to pause you guys right here because, and maybe we'll talk about that in the future as time goes on. Evan Maya, friend of the program, he's been on the show. He posted 57 minutes ago, UConn, I'm calling it 4 seed. And I just literally posted,
wow,
they beat your number 1 in your predictive rankings currently, and they're a 4 seed. And all I added to it was a gif of Shane Gillis, come on, man. Come on. You sure?
Not sure.
Come on, bro. I get it. I get your rankings. I've literally used Evan Maya and Ken Palm's rankings in my podcast, and so
I'm a paid subscriber,
and I'm a paid subscriber to both. And so what I would tell you is that all of these things are very well documented, but it's so early. We're not even in 2025 yet. If you're going to tell me that this UConn team, who beat potentially your number 1 team in the country, is a 4 seed, we have some more things to talk about.
It's a joke.
It's a joke. Andrew, I'm going to drop you off, but I want to tell you something, dude. I would love to collaborate with you guys. Please make sure that you stay close. Would love to talk through after Christmas in January. Definitely want to make sure that we can, have a locked on UConn and, anything that you guys do podcast, because I'm a big proponent of having these kind of crossover collaboration podcasts. As you noticed, this week, I did 3 of the Gonzaga podcasts.
Oh yeah,
/
absolutely.
UConn. For sure, man.
We haven't necessarily collabed with any UConn fans, but we've had Darren Haynes and Jay Billis on for.
Darren Haynes is my boy.
We had Darren on in our first year for our Big East tournament preview. But yeah, absolutely. Like I said before, we'd love to collab with you guys. Absolutely,
man. Listen. Next time you talk to Jay Billis, ask him if he'll come on Locked on UConn. But I want to do a pseudo 90 feet with Jay Billis, and I'm going to ask him some questions.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be back soon. He'll be back probably. We were going to try to aim to get him this week, but we're trying to knock down a date with him. But he'll be back for sure. But we will do that. I'll propose that to my guys. I feel like that'd be cool.
Absolutely, brother. Well, listen, thank you for jumping on. I'm going to go to Frank the Tank, and then we will go with Robbie Ballgame. What's up, Frank?
What's going on?
How we doing, man?
Not much. Did you get my message? I've been watching and I wasn't even subscribed. I'm not very observant. Realized last week and gave you that sub.
Well, now you got to subscribe, bro.
I did. I
Appreciate
subscribed.
it, man. We appreciate it. We need those numbers.
Yeah. So this game, I think Liam McNeeley definitely is the best player on the team. I think I've been watching Alex and he's so like he needs to assert himself more. Our best player should not be shooting 5-6 shots a game.
Who are you talking about there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we hear you, man. Like I think I listen. I agree with you. I think I'm sorry. I looked on Liam. I looked on on Twitter right now, and our buddy Big Larry was like, he's changed his name from Big Larry Baby Arm to Big Mahaney Forearm because he wants to pump up Aiden on this, and I love that so much that I'm going to share it. But I would tell you that, like, I'm with you, man. Like, but I also feel like, too, when it comes to Alex, like, Alex is the type of player that is very similar to, on the women's side, like Paige, right? Like, he's so good at what he does, and when he has an off night, he's not going to force things, and like he only took shots that he truly felt like he was comfortable making.
They're all open jumpers. He just missed them.
Yeah, he just was off tonight. And like for the people who are like, oh man, those two lines really screwed him up. Like, I literally wanted to jump into my Twitter mentions and slap the shit out of people because I will be honest with you guys, like 3-point shooters aren't worried about the line. They have a feel about where they are. Like, he just missed shots. It has nothing to do with he was 4 feet back or 2 feet back or whatever. Sometimes it just is what it is.
In the game, like I screamed "Old Reliable" out loud, sitting on my living room couch. Like the guy always delivers in one way or the other, even when he's cold.
Yeah, but the bottom line is like it's not about the two different lines. It's not about. It's just the bottom line is he had a tough shooting night. We're fine. He dominated Texas. We had other guys step up against Gonzaga. What else, Frank? We got you, man. Like, what else you gotta give us?
So I think in the last week, Hurley's definitely went for defense. I think he went to Hassan and said, "Hey, I need you to shut down their best guard." And Solo needs to play better defense, or he ain't going to the NBA.
I thought he was better tonight. I thought he was.
He's a 3-and-D, but I think he's so athletic with those long arms. He should be getting 3 to 4 steals a game. And then I think Hurley needs to go to Ross and Stewart and say, hey, if you guys want 20, 25 minutes, I need you to lock down their best player. You guys are athletic enough. Don't worry about shooting. Just lock them down.
You saw that in this game, though. We can talk about Ryan Nembhard playing 40 minutes. The two best players for Gonzaga, Ryan Nembhard, their point guard that is their starter. He leads the nation in assists, like by a considerable
he's a baller, yes.
Played every single minute of this game. Haas was in his shirt for the first half. They give Haas a break and then put a 6'7" wing on a 6-0 point guard in the second half. He did nothing in the second half, and Gonzaga had like no legs by the end of the game. Gonzaga's second leading scorer, Nolan Hickman, played 12 minutes tonight and had no points.
Absolutely.
What else do you want? What else do you want? Game.
Listen, guys, we're getting close to an hour. Let's get Robbie in here, and Frank, I appreciate you, brother. Hit us back, and then we're gonna close it out. Hey, what you got?
Is that the Jim Calhoun bobblehead?
I'm here with Coach, boys. I'm here with Coach. Excited to be here. Excited to be on the show. First time, long time.
That's a nice shirt you got there, pal. That's a nice shirt you got there, pal.
How we doing, boys?
We're doing great. How are
doing
you?
Great, man.
I'm just feeling like we're back. I'm feeling happy to feel happy again.
It feels nice to feel nice, doesn't it?
It does.
Madison
It
Square
does.
Garden, Storrs South. What more do you want? It's not Maui. Not Maui anymore.
I don't know what that word is anymore. I'm done saying that 4-letter word.
No more high school.
The only word that I want to say that starts with an M is the Mecca. Madison Square Garden. The Huskies don't lose in that building. What are they, 10-0 in the last 2 seasons?
Yep, they are.
One thing I'd like to say about the younger guys, the comments about them, kind of reminds me of the Andre come up a little bit early on. Andre wasn't as useful as he was towards the end of his career, obviously. So I think where these guys are now compared to where Andre was early on. I mean,
and Andre, the championship season, he was a junior. He was still a rough, like, work in progress as a sophomore. We all knew it. The guy could barely dribble, like, even coming into junior year, and then he ends up being a game changer. These guys are still sophomores.
In the first half of that year, it was like, can we even keep Andre on the court right now? He was
he couldn't shoot
offense, and what Ball is doing, and even like Ross and these younger guys, like they're still figuring out what the lineups are going to be. And I liked what I saw from Reed tonight. I like that Reed man.
Andre, it's worth noting that Andre just cracked the starting lineup a few weeks ago for the Bucks, and they're now about to play for the NBA Cup. So UConn just stays winning, boys.
I want Andre to go back to braids, Andre, though. That's
Do you think he's more aerodynamic in the air?
a little quicker, a little faster.
Just like a 1 or 2 inches more on the vertical.
That's right.
I think that's how Jaden Ross went to the braids look. He watched some highlights of Andre.
I won't lie to you. Jaden Ross impressed the shit out of me tonight. I was pumped about him.
Sometimes
he's the best he's looked all year.
Yeah.
Most comfortable too.
Him and Stu,
out of doubt.
With one thing here to Gonzaga. You've lost that McNeeley feeling.
You've lost that McNeeley feeling.
Have a good one, boys.
How does it feel, Gonzaga, to fly from Spokane for the 80th time and lose again? They can't beat us.
It can't be done.
Stop scheduling these games. You're never going to beat us.
All right, listen. We're done an hour, and I love you guys. We had 300. We had almost 400 people on the live stream tonight. We still have 200 people on the live stream. We're going to call it a night. This has been another Locked On UConn special live. What a freaking game. Guess what?
Back.
Go Huskies.
Back on.
3P.